Welcome to Adobe Illustrator. In this video, you're going to see the difference between creating lines with the pen tool and setting up curves or drawing curves with the pen tool. We're going to start by clicking Create New in the middle of the screen, or you could also go to your File menu at the top and choose New. In the New Document window, you have a variety of presets: recent files, saved presets, mobile, web, print, film video, art, and illustration. We're going to select print, and the default unit of measure for the letter size print layout is points. So we'll click on the word points and choose inches. Then I double clicked in the middle of 8.5. I'm going to type the letter or the number 7 and press Tab to jump down, and we'll make it 7 inches by 5 inches. You don't need to type IN, just hit Tab again and it will accept that value. Then we'll click Create. Illustrator calls this the artboard, and the first time you launch Illustrator, it may give you a little tour or overview of the tools. I'm going to click Skip Tour in the lower left corner of this window. And to see my entire document, I'll go to my View menu and choose Fit Artboard in Window. If you're on the Mac platform, you can see the shortcut for that is Command 0. If you're on Windows, Control 0 would center your artboard, what Illustrator technically calls the page, in your screen. Then I'll hit the letter P on my keyboard. Hitting the letter P is a quick key way to jump to the pen tool. And when I move my pen cursor over onto the artboard, you'll notice there's a little star in the lower right corner. The star indicates you're going to start drawing a new path. And unlike pen to paper, you don't want to click and drag. You may notice as I clicked and dragged, I got a square anchor point in the center and 2 round handles on each side. Drags set up curves. So I'm going to undo that. Edit, undo. On the Mac, you could hit Control Z. Again, on the Mac, you could hit Command Z. On Windows, you could hit Control Z to undo or use your Edit menu. What I want to do to create a line is do quick clicks. So click here, move to the right, click again, move down, and we're going to form the letter Z. The pink guide is a smart guide or rich cursor, letting me know that the first point I clicked is lining up with where my pen tool is now, or the point I'm going to get when I click here. So I'll click. Then I'll move to the right, look for the pink guide, click again, and to stop the drawing of the pen tool, you could travel to the Tools panel, click the pen. I don't want to do that because I find this line a little bit distracting, so I find it much easier to hit the letter P. Hitting the letter P stops the connecting of the path and lets you create a new shape. You'll notice the pen tool cursor now has a star again at the bottom right, and star means start a new path. So the Z path is complete. To practice drawing curves, we're going to make an egg. And in order to make an egg shape, I need a very high arc. So to set up a curve, I'm going to click and hold the entire time and drag straight up. When I drag straight up and let go, there's really nothing that's been created at this point. If I just hit P to stop the drawing of the path, there would be an anchor point, but it's got nothing to connect to, so there would be no line or what Adobe technically calls the stroke outside of it. Now this line you're seeing that's following the pen is what I would get if I clicked quickly. And clicking quickly creates a flat arc. So I don't want that. I'm going to hit Command Z or Control Z to undo that. I want to make sure I move directly to the right of the first anchor point I made, and I've already let my mouse go. So as I move, it's just showing me what it will be. Instead of a quick click, I want to click and drag and pull down. As you pull down, the curve forms up, and now it's safe to let go. When I move over the first point I created, I'll see a circle. A circle means you're closing the path or completing the shape. So I will click and hold and drag up again, and I've made my egg shape. Because I closed the shape, I don't need to hit the letter P to stop the drawing of the pen. In fact, I'm going to use the Direct Selection tool, the white arrow. Now a little note, if your screen is in a single toolbar mode where you have one vertical bar, this is the selection tool, the top tool. This is the Direct Selection tool. If I click these two tiny arrows in the upper left corner, it goes to a double column tools panel, and the arrow tool, what I hit the letter A for arrow to jump to, is the Direct Selection tool. So Direct Selection I often call the white arrow or just the arrow because the letter A will jump to it. Direct Selection allows me to manipulate these handles so I can pull them closer to one another, making a more egg-like shape where it's thinner on the top and wider on the bottom. I could also move the anchor closer or further away, and I could pull the handles up or down to increase or decrease the depth of the arc. So I'm going to draw an egg one more time. I'll hit P for pen. I click and drag to tell Illustrator the curve is arcing up. And this time I will angle it a little bit in. I let go, move directly to the right, click and drag down, angling it in a bit. Let go, move to the point where I started, click and hold and drag up. And as I'm dragging up, I'm trying hard not to mess up the top half because those two handles are connected to the square anchor point. My path has been completed, and I encourage you to go out and try to draw some eggs yourself. The biggest tip I'll give you is when you're tracing shapes, the anchors go at the base of the mountain or the deepest part of the curve. They don't go at the top or the apex. I set my anchor down here and here, making the overall curve easier to work with. So one last egg, and this one I'll start backwards. If I click and drag down, when I move to the right, the curve wants to form down. So I'm doing the bottom of the egg first. I'll let go, move to the point where I started, click and drag down again, and I've completed the egg, just drawing it backwards. So start Illustrator, whip up a new document, and practice drawing eggs by setting up curves with the pen tool.